Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Clash of the Reds podcast. You have with me myself, Tamim, hosting the show today, and a few of my friends. We have a mixture of Arsenal fans, Man United fans, and Liverpool fans, hence the name Clash of the Reds. So don't forget to like and subscribe. We've also got Sparx' channel, Footy Corner TV. Please subscribe to him as well. A great show. So, introducing my Arsenal friends, the resident Gooners, Daniel and Sparx. How are you, Daniel?
I've been better, bro. I've been better. It was a rough Sunday. But yeah, happy to kind of dissect what happened and talk a little bit about the title race, I guess, going forward. But also to dissect about what happened in Liverpool as well, Tamim, of course.
Yeah, likewise, not great here either. How are you, Sparx?
I'm all right. Yeah, it's obviously not being the most fantastic of days, but we're still 4 points clear at the end of the day, so long as things don't continue to spiral. I guess we're okay.
And last but not least, Dog, how are you?
Very good. I'm enjoying the We Beat Arsenal trophy, which isn't a bad trophy to have for the year. We'll probably go trophyless for the whole season, but it's a nice little thing to take away. So yeah, pretty good.
Nice.
We did beat at Trafford, though.
We should have joining us Zahid, who's a fellow Scouser, and Omar, who's also a Man United fan. So, yeah, we'll see how the show goes for that. Yeah, we've got some big topics to talk about. We've got Arsenal versus Manchester United. Great game, defining or not, we'll see. We'll talk about that. And of course, Liverpool losing to Bournemouth, another terrible result, pressure on Slot. I think we'll start with Arsenal versus Man United, definitely. That's the biggest game of the weekend so far. And yeah, we'll start with that. I'll ask Dog's thoughts first. What did you think of the game? What are your thoughts?
Oh, I really enjoyed it. Good result. I just love the football that they were playing. But yeah, I mean, this doesn't really have an impact in terms of, Zaid showed up in his little dungeon. I don't think this has an impact on the actual outcome of the league. I still think very much it's Arsenal's to lose. But it was a really good game, just free-flowing football. United didn't look like they were kind of affected by any goals. They just seemed to have this attitude of, okay, we either go for it, as opposed to kind of going into a sort of a hole. Yeah, and I enjoyed watching it in Camden in a pub full of Arsenal supporters. Yeah, that was a nice feeling as well. Doesn't have any impact on, like I said, it doesn't have any impact on the outcome of the league. I still think Arsenal's half got it in the bag, but it's a nice little victory. But knowing this United side, they could go from beating City and Arsenal to suddenly losing to the most random team. So yeah, I'm just wondering how long this high is going to last before reality hits. But we'll enjoy it for now, as opposed to kind of being a bit too pessimistic as I tend to be.
Welcome to the show, Zaid. How are you? Might be on mute still.
Well, thank you.
Might be on mute still.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm well. I mean, can't say too much that I'm happy about when it comes to Liverpool. But I'm looking forward to hearing everyone's thoughts on the Arsenal United game, because I watched it as well, and I've got some interesting thoughts on the game as well. But yeah, I'll let you carry on where you left off.
Yeah, we were talking just about that. I was just getting Dog's thoughts on it. And yeah, no, you seem pretty happy, Dog. Yeah, it was a good result for Man United for sure. Like you said, it'll be interesting to see how United do. It's only been 2 games, and there's we got to see how they do against the smaller teams for sure. But like you said, I actually agree with you, Dog. I think it doesn't change too much for the title race. They're still 4 points clear. They're always going to run into a bit of bad form. But I want to get the Arsenal fans' thoughts. So, Dog, Daniel or Sparx, whoever wants to go for it.
Let the resident go.
So I guess my analysis of the games, the first 30 minutes, it pretty much was all us. We were in control of the match, creating really good openings and opportunities. I felt like United didn't really break us down, if that makes sense. And what happened was the goal unsettled us in a really, really strange sort of way. Like, we crapped the bed. And I don't know why exactly. Obviously, I think we have to give a bit of credit to Man United. They pressed us. They had a lot of intensity in how they came about attacking us at that point. Like, they knew they had to shy away from the game plan they previously had. Obviously, you could tell as well that they had a bit of freshness about them as well, because we obviously played at Inter, 4 away games on the trot. But yeah, Arteta referenced it. We made a couple of individual mistakes, which then led to a bit of nerves, a bit of stress, and then Zubimendi inexplicably passing the ball back to Brian Mbeumo. And yeah, like, he was never going to miss from there. And at that point onwards, I think there's a stat from the point that United equalised to the point that Patrick Dorgu scored his goal. Arsenal only completed 46% of their passing, which is extremely unlike us and how we've been this season. Like, technically, we're normally so secure, and it just felt like we fell apart. Literally in those kind of 20-odd minutes of that match. I mean, Sparx, what was your thoughts? Obviously, I was at the ground, but you had a kind of a different view, I guess.
Yeah, I was watching on TV because my wife's at home for 24 hours only. So yeah, I was watching at home. I was remarkably calm actually watching it. I don't know why. I think I just anticipated it being a tricky game for one reason or another, and I guess a lot of that came from like the Liverpool game and the Forest game. But yeah, I think the same as you. I think we controlled it for the first half an hour. Started really well, really composed, and then yeah, we resorted to type a little bit and started playing around the back and just maybe got a little bit complacent, a little bit arrogant, a little bit. Well, we've got this covered now, and yeah, I love Zubimendi, man. What the hell was he doing? I don't know what he was doing for that. But after that, I don't think there was calling out one player is not really right, because I don't think anybody really played well after that point. We normally come out well after the halftime whistle. We didn't get going. Don't know what was going on really. Everybody, I see a lot of people blaming the manager, and you know, he was his usual placid self on the side, being really animated, telling him to get up the field and get back and whatever. But apparently they can't see that when you know, the agendas roll. So yeah, I just don't know what was happening. There was no press. There was too much time on the ball. Even for Dorgu's goal, there was no closing down on Bruno before he laid it to him anyway. It was just pathetic, really. It was like they didn't want to win. He made 4 substitutions. I don't really get the Hincapié one, unless he was injured himself.
I think it was fitness, because he's been out for about a month since the Liverpool game. So
yeah,
I think it was planned to give him about 60 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that was probably the case, but yeah, I don't really. I think after playing a game, playing a player in a position for a certain amount of the game, I think you just take him off. I don't think you do this switch position. We put the other player on and whatever. Get the guy off. Put Lewis Skelly on. do a like for like switch in that instance if you want to play differently. I just thought it was a bit of a strange one. I thought Odegaard was probably our best player for the first half hour.
Yeah, I agree.
And then he kind of dropped off. But when he went off, there was no press at all. So yeah, not the greatest day at the office, was it? But
with Dorgu's goal, so I'm in the stadium, so I'm sat in my uncle's club level seats, and he often gives his tickets away. So he gave this ticket to like a relative / friend who happened to be a Man United fan. So obviously, like when Mbeumo scored, he didn't celebrate. He just kind of like tapped me on the shoulder, on the knee or whatever. And the Dorgu goal was at our end. And the guy, I bear in mind, I've never met this guy in my life before. I only met him on that day. The guy levers me into the kidneys, like punches me into the kidneys when Dorgu scored. I was like, God damn it, man. Like,
wow.
So literally the whole night, like my back was hurting. We just lost the game. It just turned into a miserable evening.
Yeah, don't really
well
need
deserved, if you ask me.
Injury to insult.
Yeah, literally.
How are you feeling now, Daniel?
The back's okay. I put some like cream on it. It was okay, but it was pretty bad last night. Like the pain was radiating to my stomach and stuff. It was a proper kidney shot, man.
AJ would have been proud of that. Yeah. Now I was going to ask, how concerned were you about? Neither team really created that much, to be honest. But I thought after like the subs you made in the second half, there'd be a bit more attacking impetus. I mean, what do you think that was? Was it Man United like that shut you down, or was it maybe fatigue from the team? Like, what do you think the reasons were? Were you concerned, or is it just a bad game? What is it?
So I think as soon as we went 2-1 down, I think Arteta panicked. Like you normally see a manager make a couple of subs. He might make a couple of subs at 60 minutes and maybe 70 or 80. I know there's substitution windows, but I don't think I've ever seen a manager make 4 substitutions in one hit, basically changing half the entire team. And whether that disrupted us in terms of getting that fluidity, it definitely disrupted the left-hand side, as Sparx alluded to. Like the fact that Timber was there in his unnatural position. I think that nullified us a little bit. Give credit to Man United. I felt like every second ball, every duel, as Arteta likes to win, they were winning them. They were first to beat us in that regard. I think that's where the concern came, I guess. And when
I think we'd let them, though. I think that was
we did. Yeah, we did. And there was this belief in the stadium, like I've seen stuff saying, the atmosphere was horrible and stuff like that. There was anxiety, but like when we got the second goal, like the crowd was with the team. Like people weren't walking out or anything like that. But Cunha's goal just sapped all of the belief and energy out of that crowd. I think out of the team as well. Like it was curtains from then. And yeah, like credit to both goals, like the fantastic finishes.
Dorgu's never scoring like that again, though, is he? Let's be honest. He is never scoring another goal like that.
I do you think there was maybe a suspicion of handball on Dorgu? I don't know what you thought, Sparx. Whether
I think it's sacrilege to give handball for that. I think it's an absolute joke. I actually don't think that you could actually tell if it had hit his hand. But my problem with it is there was a Havertz one against Villa that got ruled out when his hand's on his body and it touches his hand. The previous one against Villa, where the guy guesses, and because the rules of VAR is that it doesn't overturn it if there's no evidence. You're like, at that point, I think you forget the on-field decision. I think it goes through its own parameters of, can you see it's handball? If you can't see it's handball, then you give the goal. And I think that's the right decision here. Honestly, I see loads of people crying about it. I see plenty of people crying about the attacking of corners. The particular one that I saw was there's four Arsenal players are on the touchline around, and there's 8 Man United players. So it's like, well, if anybody's blocking the goalkeeper, it's the Man United players, not the Arsenal players. So it was a bit weird. And I think it was Casemiro basically had his arm around Gabriel's neck. So you're like, well, and the caption on this thing's like, do keepers get too much protection? And then the very next tweet is mad, right? The very next tweet went into Martinez when he went down to get the tactical thing on, to get the trainer on or whatever, so that they could do tactical switches. And he's got hold of the ball, and he literally just goes, "Oh," like he's just got a kidney punch, so it's like his mate's a Man United fan, and they could punch him in the kidneys. Very apt. But yeah, he's literally gone on the floor, and you're just like, you're talking about keeper protection, and then he's just getting away with that. So yeah, I thought that was a bit mad. But it's a fair result. I don't see there's anything wrong with the officiating. I think on a 50-50 level, I think Paulson had not the greatest game he's ever had, but I don't think there was any real big decisions that he particularly got wrong. Nothing that really affected the result, to be honest with you. I thought it was yeah. And if you get little decisions like that, I think you have to earn them. So you have to earn them with your performance. So we didn't do that. So we deserve what we got, basically.
Yeah, I mean, there was that Maguire handball, which I didn't think was handball because he was kind of falling, and it was in a, like, as they say, a natural position. I think the fact that he was kind of breaking his fall kind of saves him there, I think.
Well, that's what the rule is about. And obviously the Ødegaard handball basically has reared its head again. Because our friendly Liverpool fans love to say that they got done over by that one, but by saying this one wasn't a handball, so it's like it's the same instance. So I'm not really sure, but not handball for me.
There was also in the same Arsenal United fixture like 3 seasons ago, Cedric Suarez doing his best kind of Spider-Man impression on the ground, and the ball hits him in the box, and the penalty isn't given. But
the one where he hit his arm as he was clambering across the floor. Yeah, I remember that.
And United fans were fuming, saying, of Arsenal and all this sort of stuff. But
well, that always seems to come out, doesn't it, when we get a decision? But it goes away when there's 20 go against us.
For sure.
Right. We also have a Red Devil that's joined us. Well, he joined us about 10 minutes ago. How are you, Omar?
Yeah, I'm good. Happy after the weekend's results. So it was a good game on my part, anyway. But yeah, it was a tense watch. I know you guys were saying just now that you felt like Sparx was saying that didn't think, particularly after the goals, that Arsenal weren't as threatening. But I know sitting there watching it, I did feel worried every time you guys went forward. I don't know if it's just because of our leaky defense or your strength in going forward, that I did feel at any point you guys can get another goal back. So I was never really comfortable, except for maybe after the Cunha goal, as Daniel said, you could just saw the deflation of the Arsenal players. That said, they were done after that. But up until then, I was like, it can swing your way, and it almost did.
Yeah. What are your thoughts overall on the game, Omar? While we're on you, might as well get your thoughts. What do you think overall?
Yeah, so I think as pretty much what Daniel was saying, yeah, Arsenal were the dominant team for the first third of the match, and I think if you saw my message on the group, I was like, yeah, well, especially after you got that first goal, I was like, yeah, we're not coming back into this now. They'll maintain their lead. They'll probably even get a second or a third, and yeah, it was just dumb luck on our part really that we got those opportunities. But I actually think it was the first one, the one that Fernandes missed where Saliba got his touch on it. I think that's when you guys started getting a bit more rattled. And I think that kind of lifted us. I feel like after you scored your goal, that's when we actually started coming at you a little bit more. So that's when we got a bit of a boost. And that Fernandes missed that probably should have restored your faith that you guys have actually got this. But for some reason, it just went a bit further down after that.
What are you? Sorry, yeah.
Just on that, I do think there's an element of a psychological barrier there. Sparx, do you remember the Southampton game 3 seasons ago where it finished 3-3? And
I remember every Southampton game that finished in a draw when we'd either be at home or we'd be away. And it was always, yeah, just mad.
Ramsdale makes a mistake. And obviously, this is in the running. It's in April, so you can understand like the nerves and the anxiety. It kind of felt a bit like that. Like the players, it felt like we were in the middle of the run-in and like the title depended on this match. Like there was no composure there from the players, and I was just like, guys, it's January. Like just calm down. Yeah. And I think obviously United played on that and capped players on that. It is my feeling.
The thing is, they've got more winners in their side than we've got, so you know, obviously, that's the thing, and really, that's why I want to win the League Cup, and it's not the only thing I want to win, but I want to win the League Cup just so that pressure's released a little bit, and they get over the line and just literally just go, right, okay, we can win, we can get there. A lot of the headlines go away. I know that there's been a lot of treble, minimum of a treble that Lee Hendry said, which is absolute nonsense. For anybody to say a minimum of a treble when it's been done so little in the Premier League is just madness. So obviously it's gone from the League Cup isn't enough. It's got to be one of the big ones. To now we're on a treble, but it's a crap league. So even winning it, it's it's no real assertion because it's a crap league. So everybody's just letting you win.
Yeah, like Rio Ferdinand said, like we're very lucky that everyone else is crap. It's like, well,
I would. My rebuttal to that is, isn't he lucky? Aren't Man United lucky? Because if Liverpool weren't crap, if Chelsea weren't crap, if Newcastle weren't crap, there's no way Man United being fourth right now. And it was quite funny as a bit of a backdrop that the Man United went above Liverpool. It was I have to get that one out. I mean, we're supposed to be doing back-to-back and this, that, and the other. The real bottling's gone right under the radar. It's just madness. But I don't understand why slots changed it so much anyway, to be honest with you.
The irony of like some Liverpool fans rooting for United yesterday. I'm like, come on, lads. These are your top 4 rivals.
Yeah, just mad. Absolutely mad. Man United fans are doing it.
Let's not get Man United fans
are doing it. What? What's that, Zahid?
I was just saying they've played 2 games where they've got to sit back and then counter, and they've played against teams that are attacking against them. Let's see what they do when they have to face a low block and they have to go out and attack themselves and break down a defense for 90 minutes. It'll be interesting to see what Carrick can do in that sense. But yeah, I mean, I think it was almost as if it was the perfect first 2 games for him to take over, because there was
3 hits, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. They were both free hits. what I found interesting from the game was that just like Liverpool had that chance with Bradley hitting the crossbar when Arsenal were a bit complacent at the back. This time against United, you gave them 2 opportunities until they finally. We only had the 1 opportunity and we didn't capitalize on it. They got a second chance and they did capitalize on it, and it was almost as if.
Let's not pretend you didn't park the bus as well, though. Let's not do that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean we can talk about Liverpool parking the bus against lesser teams than Arsenal. That's absolutely fine. We can get to that point, but yeah, I mean, I feel like Arsenal were playing with a lot of pressure. They didn't need to play with that kind of pressure. It was if you had won. You would have continued your 7-point gap, right? You're still 4 points clear, but you can see now that the pressure is now making a difference on these Arsenal players. As we're getting closer, as we're back into the sort of the Champions League games as well, we've got midweek games as well as weekend games. I feel like this is crunch time to see what difference that will make as the season goes on. And whether the Arsenal players have the mental fortitude to carry on through the rest of the season and continue their lead. I think you're fine, to be honest. I mean, if there was a time in the season to have a wobble, I'd prefer to have that when if I was 7 points clear to begin with. So in that sense, I wouldn't get too frustrated about it. But yeah, it was incredible to see. It was tactically, it was interesting because United played with the impetus to draw Arsenal in, to create the spaces by drawing Arsenal in, holding onto the ball, drawing them in, then playing triangles around them to then create breaks and counter. And yeah, I mean, Bruno Fernandes missed a great chance. I'm glad Mbeumo took his chance, otherwise that would have been bloody annoying. Because before that, I think he ran clear and then cut back. And then that's when Bruno missed his chance. I don't know. I feel like we were completely ridiculing Dorgu at the beginning of the season. Like, who is this guy? He's not worth anything. And then he comes out with a screamer, and he actually played well the rest of the game. He was quite an attacking threat. He's very direct as well. But yeah, and then it was interesting to see Arteta make those 4 substitutions. And then I don't know how long it was before he finally made his 5th substitution. And it was a bit interesting how he made 4, waited like 10 minutes or something, and then made the 5th substitution. I don't know what the thinking was behind that. But also, I feel like there was a lot of emphasis on the fact that Arsenal scored 2 scrappy goals and United scored lovely goals, basically attacking goals, and you know shots from outside the box. But I feel like that is also this is the way Arsenal have found that's the way they have to play to break down teams that basically go all out defense against them. And a lot of the game against United, I was counting, there was 11 men behind the ball when Arsenal were attacking, so it was difficult to break down United anyway. And I guess this is Arsenal's answer to that, is just to capitalize on set pieces and take the goals when they come, which is understandable if you're playing against a low block every single week. I think Bournemouth are probably the only other team in the Premier League that actually choose to play attacking football. They don't choose to sit back. And I think
Brentford maybe as well.
Sorry?
Brentford maybe as well.
Yeah. Okay, I guess Brentford as well. But there's not many teams. You know what I mean?
No.
So
Brighton maybe as well.
Who?
Maybe.
Brighton.
Yeah, to be honest, when they played against us, they had so many opportunities that they didn't take. I was surprised we won that game. But yeah, it was like I said, if there's any time to have a wobble, this is the best time to have it early in January. There's still lots to play for this season, and you're still 4 points clear. It will be interesting to see how, as the game weeks go on, if this loss makes a difference, or if this gives you the kick up the backside to get back into gear.
I think it's going to make a difference, Jesus, because I don't think he's going to start a game again.
I mean, he played well in midweek. That's why he got the start, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, also Gyökeres made
against
a
a low
great
block, is it?
attacking clearance there at the end of the game. I don't know.
He was
where
offside anyway. I think it was a foul anyway, wasn't it?
It was offside.
It was
Yeah,
a foul.
it came up. Yeah, it was offside. Was it
I
offside
mean-
or was it foul? I can't remember.
It was a foul.
I think, I think it was a
Foul, yeah.
foul. But what gets me is that the defenders can do whatever they like to attackers, but as soon as attackers touch a defender, they do that tumble, and it's weird. And Cunha, for all his decent work, that play acting at the end is just not necessary. You just don't need to do that.
Yeah. That's who he is, though, right? Sparx. we saw.
Yeah,
we saw
but
a lot
I
of
mean,
that.
I just don't really understand it. I mean, I will say I'd rather have I'd have him. But there were people doing combined 11s and only putting one Man United player in combined 11s, and it's just nonsense, to be honest. And they've got good players. It's just the system that didn't work for them, and the way they approached the game, they didn't know if they were coming or going, really. And you know when they're back, because Bruno starts complaining about everything again, because he's literally been passive for about 2 months. And in that game, he was in the referee's ear the whole game. And I was like, right, well, that's Bruno. That's what you get with Bruno. He's literally doing that the whole time. And I don't even mind that, to be honest with you. It's just you actually know that he's back, but everybody calls him a rat and whatever. But it's like, well, he's just getting decisions off the referee. And for the most part, he was kind of working, but he was like, well, a lot of it is like you can concentrate on football as well as moaning at the referee. You know what I mean? But
I didn't think he had the best game yesterday. I thought some people saying he was really good, but I just saw a lot of wayward passing, a lot of misplaced passing, and the attacks failing through him when we were attacking. But if it was coming from the left or the right, rather than down the middle, that's when we seem to be a little bit more threatening there.
To be honest with you, I think that he was the only one that was really feeling the pressure. I think everybody else played it as loose and just, it doesn't matter what we get, it doesn't matter what happens.
That's a good point.
And he played it like there was real pressure on it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he's off in the summer. Maybe that's what it is. It's the last Emirates game.
So, what do United boys think of what you're saying about Bruno maybe moaning a lot to the referee? You know, he's had that a lot, you know, in his career, right? What do United boys think of that? I mean, do you guys mind that much, or do you like the passion he shows? What are your thoughts on Bruno?
You might as well go first, because I'm going to say something inappropriate. Sorry.
I mean, I know Roy Keane complains about it, but he was probably in the referee's face just as much as Bruno was. He might not have been flapping his arms about as much, but
Who was?
Roy Keane. Now, back in his playing days, he was probably in the referee's face just as much as what Bruno does. Just doesn't flap his arms about and have a moan with the rest of the players compared to what Bruno does. But it is what it is. It's part of the game. A lot of the players do it, particularly in the European circuit. You see whenever you're watching the Champions League, you see Real Madrid, Barcelona. They're all the players always surrounding the referee. So it's not a great thing to see, but there's not much we can do about it, really.
Yeah, and if anything, it's probably worse with the Spanish teams. So very good point. Very good point. Anything to add, Dog, or in full agreement with Omar? Nothing.
I mean, it makes sense that he probably wants to, and when his Twitter got hacked, they wanted to do a collaboration with Bonnie Blue. So that's what I'm sorry, man. I could have helped myself, innit, man? Probably showing how far his lungs can go, but like I said, you don't want to get cancelled, innit? So moving on.
While we're on United, actually, I was going to ask you guys, what do you think of Carrick so far? I mean, it's only been 2 games, and like, you know, you guys, Zayed and Sparx mentioned, it's 2 teams where, you know, the pressure's not quite there, 2 top teams they've played against. It'll be interesting to see how they do against smaller teams. But still, at the same time, have you seen instant differences between how you guys are playing versus like how Amorim was maybe setting up?
You can sort of see the players seem to have a bit more freedom. Supposedly they're having a little bit more walking around a bit more of a smile on their face. Apparently, Amarim's training sessions were very intense and very tactic focused, whereas and quite long, so that was draining the players. Whereas Carrick's ones are a lot more shorter, faster, and supposedly have a bit more freedom in their training session. So apparently that's put a bit of a smile on their faces. So I think he's managing the players probably a little bit better, using the players to the best of their ability. So where Zahid mentioned, where at the beginning of the season, Dorgu was getting a lot of heat. I think part of it was that he was being played out of position, or not out of his, maybe not his best position. Whereas since in more recent games, he's been in that more favoured left side attacking role, and that's why we're seeing a little bit the better out of him. I did bring a smile to my face when he scored, particularly because I know that both of you in one of the in previous pods, separate points, have both slagged him off, said that he's shit and don't know what he's doing in the Premier League. So that gave me a little bit of a smile there. Yeah, I think, as I said, really, we need to give it a few more games. We can't just do the whole Ferdinand, let's give him the contract, slam it on the table. We are playing Man City and Arsenal, where we both went in as underdogs. So when you're the underdogs, you have that freedom to just go gung-ho and do what you need to do. Whereas we need to see what it is like when we got up against, I think our next match is Fulham away, I think. So we need to see how we do in a team like against a team like that, but also go further down the league against the likes of Everton and West Ham, etc., where we have to be the ones to actually go on the front foot, and we'll see how Carrick can set his team up then. Realistically, I don't see him being the manager next season. I do think they'll probably try and go for, depending on what happens in the World Cup, maybe Tuchel or Pochettino. I think previously I said that I reckon he might go for Glasner, but I don't think that will happen. From what I've heard, in his previous clubs, the same thing has happened, where after a certain period of time, it falls apart between him and the board and he ends up leaving. So I don't think they'll want to go through someone that has history of repeated mistakes like that. So, yeah. Sorry?
Who do you want? Who do you want as manager?
I don't think he would go for it. I would like to see someone like Xavi come into it and just see how he handles the Premier League. He did well at Barcelona, but realistically, I don't think he would want to take the job.
I think.
What about if Carrick really proves himself? Like what Roy Keane was saying. Even if he wins every single game, I still wouldn't give Carrick the job. Do you agree with a statement like that?
Please,
no, I think
5 games.
I think if he does prove himself for the rest of the season, then yes, because I think the difference with Ole is he had that great run of games. They gave him the permanent contract, and then it went downhill after that. If he can maintain that, then I wouldn't mind him getting the job. It would be nice to keep an old figure at the helm there, and keep that continuity of the players going into management and sticking with United. But yeah, I think with Roy Keane, there's a bit of history between him and Carrick's misses. So I think no matter what Carrick can do, Carrick can bring home a treble next season, and Roy Keane will still not be happy about it. So
behave, dog, behave.
So I was listening to Cunha talking after the game about what impact Carrick has had on the team, and he mentioned about how how they were talking about they need to bring in someone with United DNA back into the club, blah blah blah. So Cunha was talking about how Carrick has been able to bring across to the players the importance of playing for United and what it means to the fans and to the city and that sort of stuff. But also he's also basically made it out to the players that everyone is against us, and he's made it a us against them mentality, and in that sense he's managed to bring the team together. With regards to Oliver Glasner, I think the United board are more than happy to bring someone in that they can just puppet master, and that's why Carrick is there really. I feel like someone like Oliver Glasner, if he is the kind of manager that wants to speak out and give his 2 cents, then will lead to or not being willing to take him on. And I think that's probably what will happen. Maybe as Stand Up United and other clubs in the Premier League from wanting to actually take someone like him on. But as we were talking about United, a question I asked before on the WhatsApp group chat, with Casemiro saying that he's leaving at the end of the season, are you United fans happy that you're going to get, what is it, 375,000 a week off the wage bill? Or are you losing a load of experience in your midfield? What are your thoughts?
I would, based on this season's performances, I think we'll be losing a hell of a player there. In a dream world, we'll keep Casemiro on reduced wages, but I can still dream. But yeah, no, I think I wouldn't mind keeping Casemiro for his experience there, particularly if let's say things do go well over the next few weeks and we can push for the Champions League. We do end up in one of the Champions League places. It would be useful having his experience there next season. Because particularly with a lot of these players now, they wouldn't have played Champions League football. They wouldn't have known how to handle it. And it would be great to have someone there that's actually won the thing. Was it 5 times? So I think we'll be losing his experience there.
And how about Cole Palmer to Man United? There seems to be some links there, and he's expressed a desire, I believe. It feels like a no-brainer, but would you take him? Where did he fit in?
So he's a childhood Man United fan. I just don't know how we would be able to get him, how we would fit him into the squad with the current players that we bought last season. Yeah, that's my only reservation. How would he be willing to accept to be like on a squad rotation basis, or does he want to be starting every week? So yeah, that's my only hesitation. I don't know how we would fit it, and particularly with I would say our priority would be more a deep lying midfielder, and maybe someone as another fullback as well, rather than another attacking player.
Dog, what do you think of the Cole Palmer links?
I think he's just missing the proper chips you get up in Manchester compared to the shit you get in London, man. You know? Yeah, cool player, interesting. Would he work in United? Probably, but knowing United, things might go tits up. And you said we know when they face small teams. Just to clarify, isn't Arsenal a small team? And also, just regards to Carrick, I mean, I like him. I think he's injected a bit of that United spirit, but I don't want us to get too excited, man. I don't want us to be like Brooklyn Beckham, where if we brush our teeth, we think we're a dentist or some shit like that. Let's just kind of like manage expectations a bit better, you know? Keep him to the end of the season. They need to have some sort of direction. And as much as I hate to kind of like mention Arsenal in a positive light, they need that kind of vision, that passion. I sound like that Indian Chelsea guy, don't I? They need that vision and passion that Arteta's brought, you know, that system. Whether the Carrick's the man or somebody else, I don't know, but if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. So yeah. But yeah, Palmer's a good selection. Some interesting comments as well.
I probably should read out some of the comments, yeah. And again, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. So let's go for one of the early ones. Cobra Kai said, United played free. Arsenal played like they were carrying the hopes of North London in a rucksack. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we were sort of discussing that, weren't we? Maybe the pressure of it all, you know, Arsenal not being in great form. B97C says, what was Noni bloody thinking running the ball out play at 2-2, to which they go on and score from the goal kick?
Look, I want to just say this, because he wasn't the only one to make a bloody mistake, right? So I'll get to naming and shaming, you know, individual players if we go on a spiral now. I don't think now's the right time. I think we're still in the right place. I think the time for the fans is to support a team and literally get behind the side and not put any undue pressure on them. Literally just be a 13th man or whatever you call it, and 12th man more. But yeah, I mean, obviously you can pick out individuals, but you can be doing that until the cows come home. You can do that with any performance with any team. So that's why it's a team.
Yeah. And Charles 87 comments, well, question for you, Sparx. What do you attribute the loss to? United have not only obliterated our home record, a fan's pride, but also sabotaged the defensive image, as well as shown other teams to score 3 goals versus us. What are your thoughts?
I mean, records are there to be broken. So at the end of the day, that they get broken. That's life. That's football. That's why we love the game. That's the first thing. We lost to a United team, and we kind of touched on, and I think that maybe we got complacent, a bit arrogant in the when we scored the first goal. I do think we tried to score. I think we had decent chances to score, but individual errors, I think, led to the downfall. And on another day, we win that game.
Fair. Right, I've just got one more question, then I want to wrap up the Arsenal Man United talk. This is for the Arsenal boys. How concerned are you about the form from Arsenal recently? It's not been at the best. Is it just a minor blip, just to be expected in any long season, or is it very concerning? What are your thoughts?
Am I going? I think it's concerning, but I don't think it's the end of the world. I think we're still in a good position. I think that until that position is kind of a little bit more on edge, then I think we should worry about it. I think some of the team selections, purely because certain players are coming back from injury, and maybe timings of that to try and give players a rest, are not necessarily the right calls. Some of that, again, is on the manager. Some of it is on the player that's not actually doing their job properly. But yeah, I do think we miss Havertz. And I know a lot of people are probably going to get on my case for that because, obviously he's been ridiculed. But Jesus up front on his own is not the one. Shouldn't be sent there on his own. And kind of going to ring this in a little bit as well, where it says the genuine superstar, numbers player, whatever. I think that if he has got a target man, a hold-up player, somebody to play off, as in Jesus, I think he works really well. I think the superstar that we all kind of crave, and we have craved for a long while, is the left winger. Though I do think that the heir to Trossard is Eze. So it kind of worries me whether we're actually going to get a proper left winger, or we're going to be in the same situation next season.
I think
should that superstar? Sorry, Daniel. You go for it.
I think the one thing which we haven't figured out, or Arteta hasn't figured out yet, is the balance of this side. So we acquired such a fantastic squad. Everyone's praising the fact that we've got all these squad players, and we've got the strongest squad in the league allegedly. But the coach has to make it work. It has to make it tick. And where we've shown the most coherence, especially in our attack, it's where we had clarity in who was playing. When Eze was forced to start when Odegaard was injured, when Mourinho was up top, you think back to North London Derby, we won 4-1. Think back to the Bayern Munich match, we beat them 3-1. Well, the attack was fluid. Goals wasn't an issue at that point. And now all of a sudden we've got this plethora of options, and it's almost like Arteta doesn't know what his best 11 is, doesn't know who should be starting which games. I think that's caused some issues which maybe people didn't think would arise. But yeah, and I definitely agree with Sparx. Like we definitely do miss Havertz. He knows our Arteta system really, really well. The best that we looked attacking wise when we scored 90 plus goals was in that 89-point season where Havertz played up top. and was basically getting a goal and assist every other game between January and May. So yeah, we really, really miss him. Hopefully he can start playing a bit more consistently and getting some more minutes. But yeah, I did just kind of address Charles's question, how much can we go on without a stat pad? I mean, like, Salah did kind of carry Liverpool to the title last season. And you know, a lot was being made about our attacking options kind of watering over the last 5 game weeks. And apparently Liverpool had very, very similar numbers as well last year. And it was Salah who got them there. And I think this is where we have kind of looked to the likes of Bukayo Saka, kind of to kind of get us out of some holes. And I think it's natural. Like, you look to your star players to kind of get you out of tricky situations. I think back to the Invincibles, whether it was Henry going against Liverpool, rescuing that undefeated record. You know, Haaland numerous seasons, Salah numerous seasons. But yeah, I mean, our genuine truth, this might be corner kick and own goal. like that might be the situation this year. But if it's sustainable and it takes us to our first league title, I don't really care. Like, if the goals can be shared around, then let's see.
If you speak to someone like, or if you listen to someone like Troops talking about, he talks about how this is unsustainable, the own goals and set pieces, and it's not a way to manage the season. But there was a moment actually. There's also this.
It is sustainable. That's a product of elite coaching. So I often get criticised about why I glaze Arteta, so to speak. But it's because it's his coaching that's taken us there, and why those corner kicks are repeatable. But yeah, sorry, Karen, I cut your point off.
It's interesting you talk about Arteta's elite coaching, but then at the same time you're talking about questioning his choice of players for.
Yeah, but I think that a lot of that is down to the timing that they've recovered from injury and the rotation that they get from there. So I think a lot of that is kind of a balance of, yeah, he needs to play 20 minutes here. He needs to rest for this game. He needs to rest for that game. I think it's kind of it's that decision's kind of not fully, because I'm not excusing it, but I think that decision is kind of made for him by the availability and by the medical department.
I'm sure there was games this season where he played like first team players in cup games or players who got injured playing games that they weren't necessarily required to play. I can't remember specific games, but I'm sure this happened this season. But one other narrative that's starting to float around social media that I saw over the weekend was that Arsenal players are too nice. You need more mean players. And the only thing that was interesting of that is during the United game, there was a chance where I think Dorgu might have stepped on Saka's foot as Saka was at the byline inside the box, and another player would have gone down on that contact and won a penalty. So I was just wondering how that marries up. I mean, there's been instances where Salah stayed standing.
He gets accused of being a diver all the time, man.
Sorry?
He gets accused of being a diver all the time, man.
I mean, I think the main thing he gets accused of is pulling out a limp when he's not playing that well. So I don't know about diver.
Yeah. Diving and putting on a limp is the agenda that he gets puts on against him. So it's basically on the back of his head. If he goes down, he's going to be labelled that again.
I did want to talk about Saka actually in regards to Charles's question. You know, you brought him up as well, Daniel. Do you think we miss a genuine superstar such as a Haaland or a Salah? I would have thought that would be Saka. I would have thought, you know, at this point in time. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Saka's form has definitely nosedived a little bit, I think. And yeah, I do think that hamstring surgery has kind of caught up on him a little bit, I think. and I kind of agree with B's point here. You know, did Saka really need to play 90 minutes against Inter? We were already through at that point. You know, maybe there could have been a bit more management of his minutes to kind of keep him a bit fresher for this game. But yeah, I don't think he scored in the league since Brentford at home, I believe. So yeah, we do expect more from him for a guy of his talent. Yeah.
I think he's desperate to get a goal now as well, and it shows that he's kind of panicking in all sorts of situations. So he's not passing when he should pass, and you know he's just shooting all the time, just try and get that goal. You know, obviously same as everything, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree with SJ's point here. Seems like scoring by committee and it's working at the moment. I don't think it's necessarily bad. Yeah, I mean, again, I think a lot of this narrative around Gyökeres has come from this idea that he was going to be our Haaland type figure. This is the guy that was going to propel us to our first ever league title in 22 years, and he was never going to be that guy.
I mean, Arsenal fans were crying out for a centre forward before you signed him, and as soon as you signed him, Arsenal fans, I'm not saying all Arsenal fans, but Arsenal fans were saying that he's basically the Messiah and he's going to lead you to the title. So it's not turned out the way you wanted it to turn out, but I mean, it's his first season.
Who said that?
Sorry?
Who said that? Who said he was some kind of Messiah?
Oh, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but the way Arsenal fans were celebrating his signing, it was very much that he was the missing piece of the puzzle.
I mean, to be fair, I was watching streams with your fans that basically said when Isak signed, you were feet up and you were going to romp the league.
Yeah.
So I would say that not every fan speaks to every fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I mean, it's the same for any club, really.
Yeah, exactly.
But you were clamoring for a centre forward, and then when he was who you signed. But yeah, it hasn't turned out how you wanted it to turn out. I'm sure you wanted him to be that goal getter for you.
Well, absolutely, but we don't get to choose, do we? You know, unfortunately, we don't hold the checkbook, if that's even a thing anymore. But you know, we kind of just have to suck up and get behind the player that we signed, and if it doesn't work, then he gets sold, isn't it?
I mean, the thing is, I don't think he'll get sold. He signed a 5-year contract. I mean, send him back to Portugal?
The thing is, I mean, I don't think we bought him for that a ridiculous amount of money. It's not as if we spent 80 to 100 million on him.
Yeah, it's 55 million. The number's been blown out of proportion.
Yeah. So and he's not getting his bonuses. If he's not scoring, he's not getting his bonuses anyway, is he? So it'll stay at that figure. And you know, if you sell him out, if he doesn't work out, and you sell him out at 35, 40 million, it you know, for any of our clubs, really, it's kind of a bit of a drop in the ocean. Obviously, a bit more prudent with Man United at the moment. But if they get Champions League football, they're a bit more free, can spend a bit more freely in the upcoming windows. But we're all kind of in the same boat that we can afford to take a little bit of a hit, so long as we don't spend 100 million quid every single transfer. And that's probably where, you know, the likes of United have fallen down in the past, is they basically reward handsomely mediocrity too early, and then they're kind of stuck with them.
I don't think Arsenal are the kind of club. I mean, we as previous seasons have shown, Arsenal don't really generate revenue from selling players. So,
but I think
that's not true.
Okay, explain.
Smith Rowe, we sold for 30 odd mil, and Nketiah 30 odd mil, Joe Willock 25 million. These are all academy graduates. Like our selling has been great, but all of those players that I mentioned are pure profit. Flo Balogun, you know, another 35 million pounds. Yeah, Iwobi, 35 million pounds again. So yeah, we aren't in the same league as Liverpool when it comes to selling players and selling your deadwood, so to speak, for a handsome amount of money.
Deadwood that's still getting in first team, by the way.
Yeah.
And it's like you literally go off selling a Deadwood player, and it's like, oh, we want 75 million quid for him, even though he doesn't get in the first team. You're like,
The
hey,
thing
how
is,
does
you
that
didn't
work?
cash in on the Saudi bag when it was there. You know, that's what we cash in on our players.
Yeah, I mean, Coutinho, you're still spending the Coutinho money, isn't you? That's still going
we won
on.
the league of selling the Coutinho, getting the Coutinho money. So we were in Champions League as well. So I'm not complaining.
No, I'm not saying that. It's just like if you ever have a conversation with a Liverpool fan about transfer spend, it's always the Coutinho money. We're still spending that.
I think it was just because it was just done. It worked out so well for us more than anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I got no qualms whatsoever. I mean, even Suarez, didn't he paid like 23 million, something like that, and sold him for like 80 or something. So yeah, obviously we missed that kind of thing. Even like the Henrys, the Van Persies, and whatever didn't go for anywhere near that figure. Even Fabregas and whatever, we've never really got fees for. But I actually think I think the model is changing. And we all thought that Mertesacker was doing a decent job in our youth setup, and apparently it appears not, and he's been fired. So yeah, obviously it just shows what we know. You know what I mean? When we're looking from the outside, it obviously shows that that they have standards for the training academy, and maybe now they're not looking within the club, and they're now going to go with serious players, and that's kind of what we all hope for our own clubs, that we get serious people in, rather than just somebody that's towing the line and yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir, and then you end up with Marquinhos for 3 million quid.
Yeah.
And it's like, yay!
Or Anthony for 70 mil,
or you could have got Szoboszlai, and you ended up with Willian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right, I think we should move on.
Good segue to Liverpool.
Yeah. Timing's right. So yeah, we should move on to Bournemouth versus Liverpool. Another bad result for Liverpool and Slot. Yeah, it was just not great at all in any aspect. Bournemouth deserved their win. We didn't look good at all. They had a higher XG than us. In my opinion, it was just the same old story. Have more possession, but do nothing with it. Sideways passing, not looking a threat in open play. And even when we sort of pulled it back to 2-2, it was from a corner and a free kick. It was, I mean, not that, those goals don't count.
Set pieces are all right when you do it, though, yeah?
No, I've not complained about you guys doing it. So, like you said, you can't take opinions from 1 or 2 fans and say it's everyone. But it was a case of not looking good in open play, not looking good at all, and defensively making mistakes again. Yeah, just the same old story. I think the pressure's obviously building more and more on Slot. No wins in the Premier League in 2026. Not a great stat with the squad that we have. Zahid, what are your thoughts on our terrible team?
I think it's interesting because I was listening to Slot after the game I was listening to Slot after the Champions League game, and how he was talking about pundits complaining about Liverpool looking boring because having to play against low blocks on a regular basis in the Premier League, and when they get a chance to play against a team that sort of comes at them, then they have a better chance in terms of scoring goals and whatnot. And I guess it kind of made sense what he was saying. But when you start to see things like Slot talking to Curtis Jones on the byline and telling him to get into that space, and Curtis Jones is like, what space? Like, what are you talking about? I feel like his tactics are not going across to the players. I think maybe there's too much confusion. Maybe it's getting a little bit too complicated, and all the players just getting confused. I feel like Van Dijk, unfortunately, he's been an absolute champion for us throughout the years, and he's just, even though he has a very nonchalant way of playing football, I feel like that's unfortunately starting to show now, in a sense that he can't necessarily do that week in, week out. He made a couple of mistakes that led to goals. And there are cracks starting to show at the club as well, with Van Dijk coming out and saying that he doesn't want Robertson to leave. Whereas, you don't expect your captain to necessarily say anything like that goes against the club. It should be aligned with the club. I think even the fact of us considering selling Robertson is ridiculous in itself. We need someone with the experience there in the defense. I mean, like we discussed before, it should have probably been Robertson starting the season and then Kirkes slowly building into the season, rather than them alternating positions or Kirkes starting. So I don't know. There's things that have happened this season in terms of Slot's man management and how he's chosen to go about games. Even some of the substitutions that he made. I mean, Rio and Gamua came on and made more of an impact in the 7 minutes he played than some of the players that were on the pitch. He also decided to rest, or not. He didn't start Ekitike, and I think Gakpo started the game. Ekitike had to come on. I mean, surely Ekitike should have started. I know he had Champions League game and we've got Champions League game coming up, but are we playing a team from like Kazakhstan or something at home? So surely, like, I don't know, some of the decisions that have been made, I'm not too happy about. There's lots of talk now, especially about what do the club do? Do we wait until the end of the season and potentially fall out of Champions League places and then bring in someone new? Or do we cut short the relationship now, get him out now, go in for Xabi Alonso and give him like the end of this season and then pre-season to kick on for next season? It's really, I feel like it's a really sad story, It's really difficult for us considering we won the league last season with him. He's still got that in the bag, but what do we do with the rest, with everything else that's happened? Liverpool, I feel like most Liverpool, or a lot of Liverpool fans anyway, are starting to lose their patience. We're not necessarily the kind of club that, I see us as being kind of club that would let him see out the season and then take it from there. We're not the sort of Chelsea where we'll just cut short mid-season, or we're not cutthroat like that in that sense. But maybe we need to be, to an extent. I don't have an opinion either way about how we should do it or what we can do, but I feel like maybe the players are losing, the manager's losing the players basically, and the tactics are getting lost somewhere within that. And unfortunately, it just continues to go downhill. We had an unbeaten run, but it was, as you know, it's like the worst unbeaten run we could have had.
It was like a Leeds unbeaten run.
Yeah, or Unai Emery's unbeaten run at Arsenal.
No, but he had loads of wins. Emery had loads of wins.
True.
And there's some talk as well amongst commentators that maybe Liverpool could go on and we might finish outside of the Champions League places in the league, but we could potentially go on and be a cup team and win the Champions League. I'm not even confident in that necessarily, although we do look a little bit better in the Champions League than we do in the Premier League. And I put a comment in the WhatsApp group chat saying that the quality of the Premier League is greater than the Champions League. And that was off the Liverpool loss against Bournemouth, but yeah, I mean, I think Bournemouth played well, and I think they're worthy of their win. It's just another bloody long throw in at the end of the game and a scramble in the box. It's just ridiculous. But these are the things that are just outdoing us this season.
So, Zaid, I saw a comment saying that Slot's lost the dressing room, and I was like, I don't think he has. But what do you guys think?
I mean, I think everything's rosy when the team's winning. He's had this whole Salah saga to deal with this season. I mean, last season even this season, Konate's contract has still not been signed. And we don't know what's going to happen with that. There is some, when things are going well, everyone's happy, everything's gelling. But when things aren't going well, then things start to come out, leaks start to happen, and that sort of stuff. So, like going by that clip of Curtis Jones just arguing with Slot, saying like, "Where do you want me to go?" Like, it doesn't make sense where you want me to stand or where you want me to play. I feel like maybe something like that. Maybe the ship is turning. Although I was watching a video today actually about what happened with Xabi Alonso at Real Madrid and how he lost the dressing room and like the kind of egos that he had to deal with at Real Madrid and Florentino Perez. I don't think we've got anything as extreme at Liverpool, because I mean these are the same players pretty much that won the league last season. So I don't know what's happening. I mean, I guess if things continue to go downhill from here, then obviously then more cracks will start to show. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, and interesting, you mentioned about is he losing the dressing room or not? I was kind of, having similar thoughts. Do you remember when the was it the second goal for Bournemouth when Gomez got injured and Slot was telling our players to get the ball out of play, but they chose to ignore his instructions. And I think Van Dijk was asked of that after the game. And he said, yeah, Slot did, ask us for that, but we had possession of the play. So we thought, let's just keep playing. Yeah, ignoring your manager or your coach's instructions. I mean, is that losing the dressing room, or can that happen routinely in any game? I don't know, but that did cross my mind a bit. And was it, we ended up conceding a goal after that. So for all of Slot's fault, he was right to be fuming about that.
From the outside, it actually feels like that that Van Dijk is basically taking control on the field, and basically Slot hasn't got control at all. That's what it looks
like. It could look like that. Yeah.
It could look like that, and that could work if he was actually playing well and not making bloody mistakes.
Yeah, but he's not a coach, is he? At the end of the day, that's the point. So he's like, he's just taking his arrogance, or he's taking control because he doesn't believe in the manager, and that's putting him in a situation that is not altogether great.
I mean, what I was confused by that whole Gomez situation is that he was on the floor, he received treatment on the pitch, then he got up and got off the pitch, and then continued to receive treatment off the pitch. And I think that was about 6 minutes within which Bournemouth scored. If he could have just stayed on the pitch and continued to receive treatment there, and then the game would have been stopped. So even then, I think that that was a mistake anyway. And I don't know what was going on. The medical staff should have told, like, if Gomez was going to have to receive treatment for that long and they weren't sure if he was going to come back on, that should have been relayed to the bench for them to then organize Endo to come on earlier. I think it's just a mismatch of errors, honestly.
Do you reckon Robertson stays to play centre back now that Gomez is out?
I think he'll be there for depth. I'm not sure about centre back. I think Slot's going to try Endo or Gravenberch at centre back if Konate and Gomez are out.
He might even pull Szoboszlai into centre back.
He's tried him at right back anyway, so he might as well do centre back as well.
Yeah. And I feel like
he's one of those plug and play players of Szoboszlai, right? A little bit like Declan Rice. Like, play him anywhere, he's going to put in a good, decent performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does he's missed in midfield though when he doesn't play there.
Yeah, it's definitely very visible when he's not there. Yeah, one of our few shining lights of the season. But yeah, I think with the Robertson situation, I think it's also where Tsimikas, we had trouble recalling him. And from the way Roma fans actually go on about Tsimikas, I'm kind of glad that that's not happening. So let's keep Robbo, hopefully. Yeah, he's not having a good time out there apparently. So keep Robbo. We need him definitely.
But we had a bit of debate about the Robertson move, didn't we, Tamim? So my argument to Tamim was that for Robertson, the move probably isn't that great to go to Spurs, even if he is playing week in, week out. One, he has to adapt to a new club, a new city, and his powers are already on the decline. So my thought is, whilst he might provide an immediate solution to Tottenham, he felt a little bit like, Arsenal signing Cedric Suarez or Arsenal signing Stefan Lichtsteiner. Someone who at some point had won some things, but what was clearly on the decline. Yeah, I mean that was my take on it, and I think Cameron thought I was trying to compare Robertson himself to those players. Like, no. I'm referring to the move itself, not the player's ability. Like, I do rate Robertson and his achievements in Liverpool, but
no, I hear what you're saying, and I think, you know what, we came to a little bit of an agreement, because I think you misunderstood what I said as well. When I said I think for a short-term move, just as a backup for where Udogie is very injury-prone, Jed Spence has been playing a bit further for Spurs. I don't think it's necessarily a bad move for Spurs. Like, I think it's one of those, I would liken it more to like a Milner moving to us, where he's not at his best. He's not a world-class player at that point in time, but he's still provided us value, even when we were squad building. Like, just through the experience that he's had as a player and at the top
maybe
level.
Another Trippier, maybe something like a Trippier.
Yeah, exactly. Some sort of depth and bit of experience in the in the game itself. Like you said, actually, if he was going to be expected to be a week in, week out starter for more than a year, that's not going to go well. Like, whenever Robbo plays more than 2 or 3 games in a row for us, you start to see it. You start to see him burning out. So no, for that sake, no, he wouldn't be a great signing. But for a short-term cover, backup, squad depth, experience, I think he'd have been a good signing for Spurs. But I'm just glad it's not happening. Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely not happening now.
It seems like it, yeah. Unless maybe the Tsimikas situation changes. But hopefully it doesn't. But yeah, no, sort of going back to the game, and you know what you're saying. So Zaid, are you quite torn on, do we sack Slot now and get Xabi in? Like, do you have a yes or no to that, or are you very torn?
I think the problem for me is that I think we have to get Champions League spot next season. Either that's by winning the Champions League or finishing the top 4 spot. If we bring in Xabi Alonso, maybe we'll get a new manager bounce initially, but it will still take time for his tactics and his way of playing. Because I know, from what I understand, when he was at Real Madrid, he wanted more discipline from the players. He wanted more tactical video analysis as well, and he had restrictions on certain things as well, which the players didn't like. I feel like that's not necessarily going to happen at Liverpool, and I think they'll be more open to his return. But there's a risk that if we bring in Xabi Alonso now and we don't get Champions League, we don't finish in the Champions League spot, then what does that mean for next season? Although there's also the risk that we continue with Slot and we don't get Champions League qualification for next season either. I feel like I'm kind of at the point now where if things continue to get worse and we finish outside the Champions League spots, there's a higher chance that some of our players might want to leave at the end of the season, and there may be more players going out. If we bring in Xabi Alonso now, then even if we don't do so well towards the end of the season, they still got like, we're going to get a whole season with him. He's potentially going to get some money to spend in the summer as well. I feel like there's no good answer to that question, but I'd be happy to take Xabi Alonso now. As much as it pains me to say, because we did win the league with Slot, like I said. I mean, with the way our season is going, from having won the league last season, I mean, it's just horrendous. It's a laughing stock, I think it's time to cut our losses and let Slot go, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I think Wirtz would be very happy to work with Xabi Alonso again. But yeah, I mean, the case for Slot out is getting stronger by the day. Like I said, no wins in 2026 in the PL. Only 5 wins in the Premier League since October. The stats are pretty bad. More than 20 points behind compared to where we were last season. Yeah, the stats are getting worse and worse, aren't they, for Slot? So not good. I wouldn't blame the board for going for Xabi right now. Maybe it's time. Maybe it is time. Wanted to read Charles's comment. Why choose to blame the wind? Why can't Van Dijk own it? off late, he has been whiny a lot. Yeah, I do agree. To be fair, yeah, like Zaid actually said before, you're not even playing well. You're making mistakes, and you're choosing to moan and whine after you lose, rather than better rallying type answers to these questions.
Can I just make a comparison? So
yeah,
after Arteta lost yesterday, he said, it's essentially said it's down to me. It's my fault. He took accountability for the loss. So the start.
But that's why he gets hated for. Apparently, I think Slot is what everybody thinks Arteta is.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Slot clearly channeling his inner AFTV there, blaming the weather.
Did you listen to his pre-match press conference?
Slots or Arteta's?
Slots.
No, what did he say?
I don't know.
He was on Beanie Man Sports, and it was just literally, it sounded like a 2-year-old was giving a coaching session. It was horrible. I'm just like literally just going, what are you waffling about? And he was like just stating the obvious, you know what I mean? It's like, something about set pieces. If we do the set piece goals, then we win, and if we don't do the set piece goals, we lose. And if we do this, we don't do anything. And if we don't do that, and I'm like, you're not doing yourself any favors here, mate. You're just making yourself look like a clown. But look it up on Beanie Man. It's so funny.
All right, we'll check it out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. I've not seen every interview of his, but there's a lot that, like you said, he's not really doing himself any favors. Not getting results on the pitch, and then not really backing things up with the post or pre-match interviews for sure. Yeah, I mean, time's ticking. I said to these guys, like, I can see what Slot is trying to do, but I don't think he's going to last. Like, there's been a few positives, like in what he's done, like obviously winning the league itself. Then also to a few of the players, like I've seen improvements with Curtis Jones, the way his decision making has improved in the final third, and that overall tiki-taka style of play that Slot's trying to implement, the amount of touches we're getting in opposition's boxes, how much better we are in tight spaces. It's that sort of model that Pep at City, Barca, what Arteta's doing at Arsenal, that ability to hold the ball further up the pitch. That's what he's been trying to do, but I don't think he's going to last with what his perfected image is, because defensively he's not done enough work there. The pressing game is weak. And also man management wise, charisma wise, he's nowhere near Klopp's level. And you do need those bits as well as, being able to play good passing football. So, yeah, it doesn't look likely he's gonna stay. Yeah, that's it. Charles also says, I think Xabi's on fans' minds since his news. He's on players' minds, yeah. Verts' mind, I do believe that, and a few others maybe. He's on Hughes' mind, he's on FSG's mind, so it kind of feels like an internal sabotage of something, of getting something better versus what there is. Not sure about internal sabotage, maybe not. It's hard to tell. But yeah,
I think they're actually doing what they think is better than what the coach is providing. I don't think that it's sabotage as such. I think they genuinely think he's better, but it's not.
Yeah. Will Liverpool strengthen before the window shuts?
No.
Gahey was the obvious target, but who next? I don't know if you've seen anything different, Zaid, but it looks like we're not really, or not any sort of big first team sort of players. I think they've shut down any potential moves in the transfer window. Gahey should have been the one. It should have been over the line in the summer, but that didn't happen for a few reasons. Glasner's sake, who's leaving Crystal Palace anyway. Thanks for that, Glasner. But yeah, like Gahey should have been the one. That could have been a bit of a game changer for sure, especially with Konate's and Van Dijk's poor form. Yeah, it looks like we're not going to get any top centre backs, which we need, and a defensive midfielder, which we need. We're not going to get either. I don't know if you've heard anything differently, Zaid.
I've seen options in terms of who we've potentially been linked with and who would work well in the team. But if if it's been shut down that we're not going to sign anyone in January, I think that's the club preparing for a new manager in the new year, in the new season, because they don't. I guess the club will be stuck in the position where, do we want to bring in players that Slot wants, but then maybe the next manager might not want, or do we wait and just make him work with what he's got? Although I don't know how long you can have Wataru Endo playing at centre back, or Gravenberch playing at centre back. And how long that will last. It's just a shame, like we bought in Leone. He was supposed to be the next big thing. Goes and does his ACL, and then that's it. We lose him, and then we also got rid of Kwanzaa. We sold him, and then you just can't depend on Gomez. I think wasn't his injury a collision with Alisson as well?
Yeah. Was that
It's
first goal, wasn't it?
I don't know what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
So and then obviously Konate does tend to get injured. He does also tend to get injured as well, which is annoying. So I mean, we really need a centre back, but I don't see the club going and signing anyone with 4 days left. I mean, I might be surprised, but I feel like the club's probably prepping for the next manager for next season, and not looking to sign anyone at the moment. It was interesting talking about Oliver Glasner. I wonder if they had a conversation at the beginning of the season or before the season started that the club maybe said to him, we're not going to sell this person, we're going to sell that person, and then maybe he said, okay, maybe I'll stay or something, and then they lose Gehi, they lost, obviously Eze left, and you see him and how he's come out and thrown his toys out the pram. Saying that basically club aren't supporting him. But then you look at Iraola at Bournemouth, losing Semenyo, he hasn't said a thing, and he just got on with it. So it's interesting to see. I feel like clubs would look at Iraola and think he was much more sort of hireable than someone like Oliver Glasner.
Is it Silver or whatever? That's at Fulham as well. I think he's probably the same.
I think the difference there, though, is that Palace have European football, so they're having to play twice a week, every week for most weeks. So they do need a deeper squad to handle a workload like that compared to the likes of Bournemouth and Fulham.
And that grueling Thursday, Sunday schedule as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's a conversation that the head of the club should have had with Glasner to say, okay, we're in Europe, but are we going to financially back you on a European run? Or are we just going to see how far we can get with what we have? It's just, I guess it depends on what the conversation was that was had. It's hard to say.
Yeah. SJ, I think you'll miss out on CL without strengthening. Yeah, could very well happen. 32 goals conceded in the league term so far. Yeah, it could happen, definitely. United maybe in better form. We'll see. See what happens with Chelsea as well. I wanted to ask you guys actually, as well, somewhat neutrals, Danielle, Sparx, Omar, and Uzi, what would you do if you're a God forbid, a Liverpool fan? Would you want to sack Slot right now and get Xabi in? What do you guys think? Or
I think it all hinges down in the dressing room. If he's lost the dressing room, then at that point you have to get rid of the players there. But if the players are still backing him, then I would say stick and just see what happens over the next. I'd say give him at least another half a season, the summer next half season, and if it's still bad, then maybe have to get rid of him. Just drawing parallels to the Amorim situation at United, he hadn't really lost the dressing room, maybe up until the final week or so. But up until then, most of the players were supposedly still following his, going along with what he was planning there. It was more his arguments that he had with the higher up. So I think, in that sense, it has to be based on what the dressing room is saying. If the dressing room is still backing him, then stick with him.
Yeah, it's good point about like losing the dressing room or not. I think ultimately that's what cost, going back to Arsenal, Emery his job. He did lose the dressing room. I think that's a key factor, but also will he get Champions League football this year or not is is I think his main KPI probably for this season, as well as obviously challenging for the league. If he doesn't get Champions League football, not following United route and giving him another transfer window, and then sacking him mid-season will just causes us for next year. So probably best to make that break at the end of the season and then hire someone fresh for the beginning of next year is my take.
Yeah, I completely agree. He's got to be given to the end of the season. I think he's earned that winning the league, whether it be in his manner or not. I just think he's earned the time. So yeah, he must have prerequisites to meet at the end of the season. I mean, the main goal was to go back to back with the money he spent, but obviously that's not happening. So I think that the minimum has to be Champions League qualification and or winning the Champions League, because you're out of the cups now. I mean, you could win the FA Cup, couldn't you? I suppose, but
out the League Cup,
Champions League, yeah.
So you could still win a cup maybe, and that'll buy him time again. But I don't know if you want to buy him time.
Yeah, again, it's whether they fall into that United pattern, right? Like United won the FA Cup and then gave Ten Hag another window and another beginning of the season.
Yeah, he wasn't followed by a league title though.
Yeah, true.
Dog, what do you think?
Just to give some perspective, Slot has accomplished in 2 seasons what no Arsenal manager or Manchester United manager has managed in the last 6 years, and for Arsenal, the last 22 years. I think Slot deserves the right to have a bit of time. If he's having a shit season, that's fine. He's won the league from last year. If next season is terrible, then that's a different conversation. But I think he's earned enough kind of credit to be there. Even if he finishes in the top 6, that's still not bad compared to where Liverpool were at the start of the season. So I wouldn't most Liverpool fans would just they're a bit topsy-turvy, aren't they, innit? Just tell them to go watch the 2005 Champions League highlights. They'll be okay after that, innit? But yeah, should be okay, I think. He deserves a bit more stay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
See, look, I can diss Man United and Arsenal at the same time. That's equality in true sense.
Yeah, you can put Chelsea and Spurs in there at the same time, though. You know what I mean? They're the same.
No, let's not open that door. I'll go quiet. It's 12:05. I've been quiet for the whole night. I'm not going to say anything now.
I was just saying, there's options.
All right, I think we'll wrap up shortly, but we'll go for a couple of things, predictions, and maybe very quickly, just a bit while we're talking about transfer window. Anything anyone wanted to add about transfer window talk from Arsenal, Man United?
No, nothing happening for us in January.
No.
Well, that's almost because of Julian Alvarez. I think I see some clamoring for him. It's not going to happen. But yeah, if only Arsenal signed a striker. It's not happening.
We just bought a striker.
Yeah.
I'm not buying another one in January.
Anything for Carrick or nah?
Probably not. Not whilst his interim manager. They'll wait till the summer and see who they get in as permanent, and then let them decide what's needed. So I don't see us doing anything. If anything, we'll probably just be offloading players, but I don't see us doing much this transfer window.
Fine. Okay. Yeah, let's move on to predictions then. So this weekend's fixtures, we've got firstly Leeds versus Arsenal. Arsenal at away to Leeds. Let's go around predictions. We'll go Danielle first.
Tough place to go at the moment, Ellen Road. Again, it's not going to be a hammering by any stretch. I'm going to go for 1-0 Arsenal.
Sparx.
2-0 Arsenal.
Zide.
I'd say 3-1 Arsenal. I feel like Calvert-Lewin might get a goal in, but we'll see.
Omar?
I don't know. Ellen Road is a tough place to go. I feel, particularly with your current run of form. I mean, I think you'll put up more of a fight than what you did yesterday, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 2-2.
And Dog?
Say 2-1 to Arsenal. I think they'll get a win in the last 15 minutes or so. So it'll be a bit scrappy. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm going 1-0 Arsenal. I think it will be a tough place to go to. They're going to make it a bit of a scrappy game. It might be a little bit nerves for Arsenal first half, but I think they'll get the win in the second half. Liverpool versus Newcastle. So Liverpool at home for this one. Let's go Dog first.
So Liverpool playing who?
Newcastle.
I think
And
it'll
it's
be 0-0.
Anfield.
It'd be a boring draw. Yeah.
Omar?
2-0 Liverpool, I think.
Zaid?
I think that this is such a huge game for Liverpool and Newcastle. Whenever we play each other, it's like a derby, basically. It's a massive game. I mean, I thought Newcastle would put up a better fight against Aston Villa because I think Villa went to Newcastle as well, right? And it's better than there. So I don't know, man. The way we're playing at the moment, the players will be up for it. I could see us winning 2-1 maybe.
Sparx?
Lose 2-1 to Newcastle. Liverpool's goal will be a set piece.
I don't mind if it's a free kick that Szoboszlai takes. I'll take that over a scrappy corner.
Yeah, Newcastle will score 2 own goals.
Daniel, what do you think?
I agree with SJ. I think it'll be a 1-1. Yeah.
Unfortunately, Isak not there to score the goal. SJ would have been good though, wouldn't it? I'll go chaotic 2-2. Yeah, bit of a chaotic one. Like Zayed said, it's always nuts when we play against Newcastle. Yeah, 2-2, I reckon. For Man United, they are at home to Fulham. So let's start with Zahid.
Okay.
I think this will be an interesting test for Carrick to see. I guess they'll be playing at home, and let's see if Fulham sit back. It'll be interesting to see how Carrick tactically sets up for this game, because he got both spot on for the Arsenal game and for the City game in terms of how they set up to play. So it'll be interesting to see. I could see this being a 1-1.
Let's go Sparx.
2-0 United. I mean, they've got no midweek games, so, you know, he can just put the same team out.
Dog.
So who's United playing again?
Fulham
Fulham.
at Old Trafford.
You know what? I actually reckon United might lose that 1-0. Yeah, I reckon they're going to get slipped up.
You got
probably
PTSD,
they're
man.
too arrogant at the moment. I think. A bit too overexcited. Yeah.
Daniel.
2-1 Man United. I think Harry Wilson might get a goal. But yeah, maybe Bruno or Mbeumo might get the goals for United, I think.
And Omar.
No, I think I'm going to agree with Zayed on this one. I feel like this one might finish as a 1-0. I feel like it'll be a bit more chaotic from United, not as structured, because as Zayed said, going up against a team that might play a bit deeper, which we'll struggle against. I think it will finish as a draw, 1-0.
I'm going 2-1 United. Yeah. And I guess that wraps up the predictions.
Are we not going to do a prediction on Spurs and City? We've got to do a prediction on that, surely.
Okay. Yeah, fine. Spurs City. Right. Who's home?
Spurs.
Spurs at home. Ooh. Danielle, you go first. Go on.
City are going to hammer them. It's going to be 3-0. Like, Spurs are going to just get their tummy tickled. I think it's going to happen.
Let's go Zahid.
Yeah, I can see a 3-0 City win. I don't think Tottenham have anything, to be honest. I think I guess we'll see with Gahey now in their defence. Let's see if that brings some solidity and some assurance in terms of how they play out from the back. But yeah, I don't see Tottenham doing anything.
And let's not forget Thomas Frank's a Silver member as well. So
Although when they play against each other in previous seasons, Tottenham haven't done too badly. It's usually been an open game, and Tottenham have scored goals.
Yeah. Other than when we needed him to do something, but yeah.
Omar?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a 3-0. I think Tottenham's home form has been atrocious, so it should be a fairly straightforward win for. Fairly straightforward win for City there.
Got there in the end.
Yeah.
And Sparx.
I'm going to go 3-2 Spurs, purely because Frank is an Arsenal fan, and he's going to have his cup on the touchline, and he's literally going to upset all the Spurs fans. And when they win that game, they'll want him out even more.
That'd be brilliant. That'd be absolutely brilliant. I love that to happen.
Was there ever like an inquest into how that managed to happen? Like, who was the person that slipped him that Arsenal cup? Like, what happened?
I mean, we were in that dressing room the week before,
The match
so
before, yeah.
you know.
Apparently, it's his pre-match game routine to have a cup of espresso before the match starts, and he asked for a cup of coffee, and someone happened to hand him that cup. But sackable offence.
Literally, most of the stewards in that ground were Arsenal fans. We were literally just talking to them, and they were literally just going, "Yeah, Arsenal. we don't want them to win. We want you lot to win." It's quite funny.
And Dog, what are you thinking?
I actually think it's going to be 2-2. I just don't trust City at the moment. I think they've kind of got it on the plate right now to kind of go past Arsenal, but they've just been so shit this entire season. I think they're going to give Arsenal a lifeline, and that's what Arsenal's going to run with to help them win the league. Honestly, I'm just not convinced by City at all. And knowing Tottenham, they'll just show up, man. It's called the Spurnabel for a reason.
I know that one. I'm thinking, you know what? Spurs have always done all right against City. They just park the bus, take the pressure, and counter-attack. And they've always had like fast wingers, fast attackers for that. I'm not sure, you know. I'll go 1-1.
I mean, I'm taking a draw any day of the week, to be honest with you. I'm all right with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I predicted a win for the banter, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I'll take a draw.
Yeah, more points dropped for City. Yeah, I can see that happening. I can still see, despite what happened with Arsenal and United, City's still going to drop a load of points. So this could be one of those games for sure, definitely. But no, I think let's wrap this up. Thanks to everyone that's been listening. Again, please like and subscribe. And also subscribe to Footy Corner, who is Sparks' show. Thank you, everyone. And peace out.